Hi, and welcome to another Microsoft 365 Message Center update. Today we're going to be talking about Microsoft plans for basic authentication in Exchange Online. Previously, Microsoft has announced that they're going to disable basic authentication for all protocols to Exchange Online. However, they've just recently announced that they're going to suspend that action to give you more time. With the current situation, we might find that a lot of people are struggling to make the IT updates they want to do, maybe bring in new authentication methods, things like that. So Microsoft's given us a bit more of a grace period, which is really nice. And if we just bring up the Message Center item so we can see where we're at, if I can find my mouse, there it is. Yep, so you can see here. So they are going to continue with their plan to disable basic authentication for protocols that are not in use in your tenant. So based on previous usage records, Microsoft is going to go through, identify which protocols you're not using, and then disable basic authentication for that. This is a good move because this is going to plug a lot of security holes that we might have through basic auth. However, it buys you more time to update your authentication methods going forward before it's fully switched over. So this is a good move. So we can look at how this is going to impact you as an organization. So how will you know when your tenant is affected? So Microsoft will publish a major change message center note post to your tenant 30 days prior to disabling basic authentication for any protocols in your tenant. Major changes also trigger email notifications, so you should be aware of it happening. However, because it's based on usage reports of protocols that are unused in your organization, you really shouldn't see any difference to service. So what if your tenant is actually using one of those protocols? So if your tenant is using any of these protocols, then Microsoft won't disable them. Should you find a message center post to the contrary, then please get in touch by raising a support ticket. So Microsoft are currently building the capability to re-enable the protocols yourself via a support center in Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So if you find yourself in a situation where you need to re-enable them in the future, Microsoft will allow you to do that, but that capability isn't rolled out yet. How does this change affect authentication policies? I'll just scroll down so you can see what we're going through. The switch that Microsoft used to disable basic authentication for unused protocols is not available to tenant admins, with the exception of the switch for SMTP authentication. So you won't see any changes or additions to existing authentication policies, if you have any, and Microsoft's change will take precedent over any policies that you might have. So they understand it might be a bit confusing, so they wanted to note it there. Outlook, so any changes to Outlook? So Outlook depends on Exchange Web Services, therefore Outlook must be updated to use modern authentication before basic authentication for AWS is disabled. Outlook uses only one type of authentication for all connections to a mailbox, so including these protocols should not adversely affect you. If AWS has basic auth disabled, Outlook won't use basic auth for any of the other protocols or endpoints it needs to access. I apologise for reading that, but there's quite a bit of information there. So that's the basic update that we have. So if you are involved in managing the email access and Exchange Online for your organisation, hopefully that's some good news for you. I do still recommend people try to make a move over to more modern authentication types as soon as possible. It is a lot more secure for your organisation, but at least if you are struggling to keep up, then we have this small period of time that you can carry on using basic auth. Okay, thank you very much, and I shall see you shortly.